we got word today that John Brennan, you know, the former CIA guy that wanted you to believe that that Trump dossier was absolutely positively real, even though yours truly read it and was like, gee, this doesn't look like an intelligence document. This looks like, I don't know, opposition research. I mean, the thing was just so tawdry, and the way it read, it was like it's a spoon feed to some tabloid somewhere. I'm like, this doesn't read like an intelligence document at all. Like, it's kind of obvious. And yet Brennan insisted this was the real deal, that Trump was an agent of the Russians, et cetera, et cetera. But it gets worse. He just testified and he admitted that actually that whole thing they did with the 51 former spies and political hacks, oh, well, that was actually, quote, political. So he admits it was political. Well, we knew it was political. But what's so sad is that you have all these intelligence officials banding together, allegedly at the request of our current Secretary of State. That would be Secretary Antony Blinken, who's not doing a very good job, frankly, as Secretary of State. Anyway, he's the guy who apparently called up Mike Morrell and said, hey, can we put this together? And Mike Morrell said, sure, let me see who I can get on board. And so then there's now an email, and the New York Post has published all of this. You see the email of Brennan talking to Mike Morrell. I mean, this is not good. And the upshot of all this, do not forget, was that you had the New York Post losing its Twitter account. You had basically a suppression of that story unlike anything we've ever seen. And it turns out the spin was actually coming from our own former members of the intelligence department. There's some concern and questions as to whether there were current members of the intelligence department involved with that as well. So I think we have a lot of questions to ask, and we have to say, like, what is going on? Why are they trying to do all this? Well, it's a jockeying of power, right? They all want power. When Antony Blinken was asked about this, he went on CBS recently. He said that, you know, he's not political. You know, he would never do something like that because he's not political. Excuse-moi? Excuse me, Mr. Blinken, you were actually working for the Biden campaign as an advisor. So that tells me you are maybe just a little bit political, right? Like you try and pretend you're like over there on an island there at the State Department, but you were working for the darn campaign. And we're not supposed to believe Mike Morrell when he said it was your idea? I wonder. Anyway, this is turning into some alarming stuff. Alarming in that I fear it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better. And you have to say, like, why is this happening now?